My name is Jourdan Guyton. I am a content coach, strategist, teaching entrepreneurs how to create profitable content on social media. I work primarily with female entrepreneurs who are coaches, consultants, and service providers. And I started my business in July of 2020, so in the height of the pandemic. So a little bit about me. I started behind the camera. If you look in that top middle picture right there, that was my boss for a good 3 years. Anybody familiar with Maury Povich? That was my boss for a good 3 years. You are not the father. I was doing it all. So I started in production. It was something that I enjoyed, that I loved. And then I started doing some content in front of the camera. So I created content. I created a web series with a friend that we ended up selling to a major network. In addition to commercials, print, all the things. But when pandemic hit, production fully shut down. So obviously all of us had to take several seats in order to adjust to the big life change. And so that's when I decided to start my business. So I started from scratch. I started from nothing. And now I am teaching other entrepreneurs how to create content for their business. So here's the stats. When I started creating content for my business in March of 2020, I just hit 10K in March. But when I started my business, I was at about 5,000 followers. And through creating Reels today, you can see that growth of over 50,000 organically. I have not paid for an ad. I have not ran ads yet, maybe one day, but all of this is organic traffic. And a big indicator of this was from Reels, okay? So these are some more numbers from my insights. So there was a time where I had a Reel that did really well, and we reached over 2 million accounts. And if you look to the right, you can see the breakdown based on content type, right? And it says out of the 2.438384 accounts reached, 2.4 million of those accounts were due to Reels. So I said, I might need to double down on these Reels things. So the commitment throughout the duration of this workshop, I ask that you commit to show up yourself, soak up all the value in the upcoming slides, take notes, and be open to receive information to help you grow. You guys commit to this journey that we're about to go on. I want you to make a commitment to yourself, to your content. I think that making that commitment before diving into learning really sets the tone before moving forward. So let's go. My workshop goal is, if you are an entrepreneur, you will learn how to maximize Instagram Reels for your business, right? To grow your audience and sell your services with ease. Okay, so Instagram Reels are an incredible way for entrepreneurs to grow their audience, showcase their services, and sell. Bhavana says she's committed, or Bhavana Digital Academy says committed. The Clemens commits, Ebony commits, and Jonah refreshes and reminds me that we are all friends for sure. So let's go back to the beginning of Instagram Reels, right? So let's talk a little history. Instagram announced Reels in August of 2020. So a year and a half ago. This is still a new feature to this platform. So what we do know in the research that we've kind of pulled up is through Instagram and through good old Google is what we know about the Reels Instagram, or what we know about the algorithm is that it favors Reels that are entertaining and fun. So Reels that delight people, grab their attention, makes them laugh, or has a fun surprise or twist, right? Are inspiring, right? So something that could start a trend others can easily participate in. A Reel that uses creative tools like text, filter, or camera effects. Reels always do well in the vertical video, so straight up and down, not the horizontal. Uses music from the Instagram library and or original audio you create or find on Reels. That's a big one, and we'll talk about that in a second. And last but not least, are experimental, right? Trying something new, being yourself, and seeing what works for you. So this is what we know is being favored. This is what I've proven to be true in my content and in the content that I teach for my students, because I do have a group coaching program for female entrepreneurs. And what we've seen is that authentic, unapologetic you is what works in these Reels. Here are some common mistakes I'm seeing that I've made, that I'm seeing in my students, that I'm seeing online in general. when it comes to Instagram Reels, right? So one of the mistakes I'm seeing is that you're doing it all in one day, right? So researching, coming up with ideas, shooting the content, writing the caption, posting. And usually when you do it all in one day and you're spending 4 hours, maybe you're cranking out one reel. Anybody guilty of doing it all in one day and being exhausted, right? I remember my first reel took 3 hours and I was exhausted, and I wrote it. I wrote the text, wrote the caption, all of that, a lot. So that's a mistake I do see made. The second mistake I see is there's no clarity or intention behind the reel that you're putting out, right? So you're just posting just to post without any strategy. You're just putting up reels because you want to get a reach. Maybe you're just recording something really quick. And that intention or lack of clarity leads to confusion for your audience, right? So that's a mistake that I want to eliminate from your reel strategy as well. Neela says, guilty as charged. The last one is not doing them, right? So reels are the fastest way to skyrocket growth and reach on Instagram, period. Like there's no other thing on this platform that Instagram is pushing that does what reels do. You can't go live and hit 2 million people the way that you can create a reel for 5 to 15 seconds and hit 2 million people. So if you're a business owner, if you are an entrepreneur, if you have offers, services, products, and you're not using reels, you're leaving money on the table, right? Sarah says, yeah, this one is me. I haven't gotten into reels yet. I love that you wrote the word yet, because Sarah, we're getting into it. All right. So let's dive into the reel strategy. So grab your pen and paper. I'm going to give you 5 tips or 5, I don't want to say hacks, 5 real-time strategies that you can walk away with today, and hopefully begin to walk into your first reel or walk into your first profitable reel. I want your reels to make you money or grow your audience, right? So number 1, use trending audio. I know we hear this all the time. I know we hear that use popular audio, and I'm going to show you kind of how to find some of that. But trending audio, according to blog.planoly.com, is a core factor in making reels that capture attention and connect with your audience, right? So taking the time to research trending audio, taking the time to see what audio is doing well on this platform, on Instagram, is a great way to increase your reach. And so how do we locate that, right? When you're scrolling through the Reels tab, right, there is the audio that lies at the bottom of that reel. And so if you see an arrow pointing right in that diagonal direction up, that indicates that audio is trending at the time. And audio could be a song, it could be a sound, it could be a voiceover, it could be it literally can be, it's any type of audio, right? And so I encourage you to save that audio as you go, right? So that when it's time for you to create some reels for your business, you have it ready. And the great thing about the Reels feature is that reels really have a longer shelf life than all of the content on this platform. So trending audio can last up to 2 weeks. So don't feel so pressured that the moment you find a trending audio that you have to create the reel right then and there and sit down and start pointing and dancing and jumping and all the things. You don't. But what I will say is don't shy away from the trending songs and sounds, because you don't have to master the choreography. You don't have to do the voiceover lip syncing stuff to the T, right? Do something that is fun and that is authentic to your personality and to your business, right? So number 2 is probably one of my favorite points, and that's keep it simple. When it comes to when it comes to reels, keep them short and simple. They are short form video content. And I know that there are some users that can create up to 60 seconds worth of content. But what I've been seeing work well is reels that are from anywhere from 7 to 15 seconds. And the reason why I say that is because it's supposed to be short form content that captures your attention, gets the value across, or gets whatever you're trying to showcase across, and people move on. Our attention spans for reels and that swipe and that TikTok and all of that is very short and sweet. So when you think about creating your Reels content and you feel like it's getting a little bit too long, right? Break it down into two different reels, right? You might be teaching too much in a short amount of time, or move it over to an IG live, right? If that content is getting a little bit long and lengthy, I would encourage you to channel it into another piece of content and keep it simple. So this is Tiffany, one of my students in my group coaching program. And one of the things we leaned into, she's a nurse practitioner. One of the things we really leaned into was her being herself on Instagram and keeping it simple, right? And so if you see in this picture on the left, this is actually Tiffany at work, y'all. Tiffany is shooting reels at work. I'm sure she's off the clock. Listen, I'm not telling on my student, right? She is in her lab coat. She has her stethoscope around her, and she's talking about vitamin deficiency in 15 seconds or less, right? And that reel, this particular reel here on the left, hit over 2 million on Instagram. And then she ended up taking it to TikTok and going viral on TikTok as well. So let me show you a little bit of Tiffanys results. Her goal was to really get clear on how to take her expertise as a nurse practitioner and turn it into content and monetize, right? And so when she started, before she started creating reels, she had a following of 83, which is great. That's 83 potential clients that she could serve and sell to, 100%. But once she started diving into reels, she had a skyrocket increase of followers. So from 83 to 17,000, she created a monthly health membership. She sells products, so she sells CMOS, and she's officially established her expertise by just being it so simple in her content. So if you look down here on the left, she said, Jourdan, I woke up to this and I got my first 2 orders for CMOS from my old reels and lives I posted about it. So again, the shelf life of reels is not a game. It does last. People go back and binge watch that content. So definitely don't sleep on that. Awesome. So let's keep going. Let me know if Tiffany's story was inspiring. And Christy, I will definitely address questions at the end, so be sure to stick around, and I'd love to speak to posting daily reels. I actually talk about that a little bit further as we go on. Awesome. So tip number 3, when it comes to reels, what I've found that really works when it comes to the selling side of things is dual CTAs. So if you don't know, or if you're unfamiliar of what a CTA is, it's a call to action. And a call to action is the best way to lead your audience to the next steps. So what better way to make sure they're guided all the way through by using dual call to actions. And so when I say dual, I'm saying 2, one in the video and one in the caption, right? So I'm saying first, connect with them in your reel and then tie it all together in the caption. So what I've seen really work at the end of videos is that first call to action. If you look to the right, this is a reel that I shot and I said, read the caption. That's the very first call to action I have my audience take, right? That's the first one. Then I think about what I'm writing in the caption, and feel free to screenshot this and tag me. These are some really great call to actions then that I leave in the caption so that the audience, the person who's watching this particular reel, can take that next step beyond just digesting my content, right? Does it look like them, attending my free masterclass? Does it look like them commenting a word below? Does it look like me connecting with them, right? So let's go through these 2 columns. So on the left, I have your real call to action. So what you're including in the video. So for example, in the last one, it says read the caption, right? So there's one right there, read the caption. Another call to action could be more info below, right? Check out the details below. Find out how you can too, right? Anybody want to drop a call to action in there? When you think about what you've used in your reels that do well? Anybody? A real call to action. Read more, any of that. And then when it comes to your captions, and there's tons, I could do a whole freaking workshop on call to actions. But here are a few call to actions you can use in your caption, right? So we go from telling someone to read the caption. Your audience then decides to read the caption from that first call to action. And at the end of that caption, maybe you say, save this post for later, right? That increases the saves on that particular reel. Maybe you say, share this with a friend who needs it, right? So now we're increasing the reach of now this post because we're saying to share with a friend. Comment the word XYZ to learn more, right? So now we could even be moving this conversation into the DMs, right? Comment the word enroll to learn more. And when Nyla says enroll, guess what? I'm probably going to be in Nyla's DM saying, hey, Nyla, you said that you'd love to learn more about my program. I'd love to hear more about your business, XYZ, right? The last call to action could be click the link in my bio to book a call, right? Let's go beyond just click the link in my bio. I don't want to say it's played out, but it is played out. Let's take our audience on a journey beyond click the link in my bio. Click the link in my bio to learn more about starting your detox journey. Click the link in my bio to get started in my 20-day read a book program. I don't know, y'all, I'm kind of going off the dome here, but thinking about extending that, click the link in my bio. So let's talk about number 4. This is huge. To be authentic. Being authentic in your reels is the secret sauce. Do not try to be anybody else but you. Your vibe will attract your tribe clients, right? So a lot of times I hear, do I have to show my face on my reels? Whatever is authentic to you is what you're going to be doing in your reels, but also, think about pushing yourself a little bit outside of your comfort zone, right? So I've seen people create reels and never show their face and advertise their products and their services. I've seen people show their face in every single reel, right? Whatever is authentic to you and also pushes you outside of your comfort zone is how you should be showing up in these reels, right? And know that the more practice that you have with creating these, because your first reel is not going to look like your 10th reel, look like your 20th reel, look like your 30th reel. You're going to evolve the more that you show up. That's just with anything, right? Because your confidence is built. You have more comfort in doing them, right? You can move a bit faster in implementing these things. And then you also have a better pulse on your audience so you know what to see, right? So I think that it's super important to get into a rhythm of doing it. This is one of my students. Her name's Dr. Marcy. She's a wellness coach. And this was shared actually in our program. And she said, my win is I'm having fun. Like, I'm bringing the joy back in content. I'm having fun. Finally, I'm out of my perfectionist prison. Phew! Having fun being myself and sharing my passion for helping women live well beyond 40. Here's my reel from today, and I had a blast. I have the last 2 for the week already in my drafts folder on Instagram, right? Love that. So she is being herself. The Clemens says what makes them authentic is speaking on things in our niche that most don't say out loud. I love that. So she's straight there, straight shooters. Okay. Sarah says, I'm super focused on making stuff accessible to everyone. Love that. The Aubrey fam says, I'm super approachable and a no BS type of person. Okay, let's go. Here's another authentic real result. Ananya is a NP burnout coach. She helps nurse practitioners recover, overcome, or avoid burnout in their businesses. She's incredible. So if you know any NPs, send them her way. But creating reels has skyrocketed my visibility to an untapped audience, even beyond hashtags alone. It also helps me showcase my personality more. I love that. So again, she's become consistent in her content, showcasing her personality more and more. Ebony says, my audience are teachers, and I've been a teacher for 20 years, so I know them well. Plus, I'm cool. I love that. The Clemens says, we also do some shock value to then point to a deeper point in the captions. That's great. That's great. Awesome. All right. So number 5, put a 1 in the chat if this has been helpful. If 1 through 4 has started to get your juices going and thinking about your reels and those next steps, I just want to know that you guys are finding value in this. So number 5 is intention is a must. Listen, before you post a reel, before you show up in front of that camera, before you start jumping up and down, before you start pointing, before you begin laying them edges, before you get your products well lit, intention is a must. Okay? Every single post that you create, every reel that you create should have an intention to grow your audience or sell your services. It's one or the other, right? You're either wanting to grow so that you can have awareness, more eyes, more reach, more leads, or it's a direct sell to your offers, your products, your services, purchase, money, monetize, all the things. And a lot of times those monetized reels might not do as well visually with the vanity metrics, but if people are in your DMs and you're selling your products, that's why we're on these platforms. We're not on these platforms for likes. Likes don't pay the bills. Loves don't pay the bills. We want customers and clients, right? So I challenge you to focus more on the value over the viral, right? Are you providing value, making the sales, or are you more focused on the views and going viral that doesn't pay for any of your stuff, period, right? So intention is a must. So just thinking about when you're showing up and you're putting out a reel, when we think about growing your audience, that sounds like content that is empowering, that is teaching them, that is pouring into them, that is addressing pain points. That's a lot of value and growth. And sell is, come to, or these are my products, or I'm hosting a class, or what are you struggling with? Exposure doesn't pay the bills, 100%, right? So really getting intentional about the content that you're putting out, right? So let's continue. Oh, perfect. And I see Christy's comment, so this is going to be good. So real myths, don't believe the hype, right? Don't believe the hype when it comes to these things, okay? So here's some real myths. The first one that I hear often is that you have to post one reel every single day. Has anybody ever heard that? That, hey, in order to grow your audience, like I said, I grew my audience by 50,000 in 8 months. So you have to post every single day. I think that is a myth. You can totally do that if you want to. If y'all, it is not my ministry to teach someone to post a reel every single day. It is exhausting to write the captions, to look up the content, to write the words on the video, to share it, to find the hashtags, all of that. So I want to myth bust that. Because when I started posting my reels back in October, I posted my first reel in October. And from October to June, so October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So for 8 months, right, I posted anywhere from 0 to 1 reel a week. And I grew by 40K, 0 to 1. So some weeks I wouldn't post 1 reel. And other weeks I'd post 1 reel. And that was enough because I was consistent, right? The goal behind growth, not the goal, the secret behind growth in your reels, in your audience through your reels is consistency. So if you're posting every single day, I don't know. I've seen it work and I've seen it not work, right? But what I have seen work is somebody committing to 3 reels a week or 2 reels a week or 1 reel a week for a month to 2 month time span, and that builds and brings consistent growth. So you totally and completely can post a reel every single day. Yes, you'll get more eyes because you're posting 30 reels in 1 month, right? But what would it look like to post, let's say, 2 reels a week? That's 8 reels a month, 8 quality reels that do well with views, attract the right audience. Because a lot of times when we're posting so much, again, it goes back to posting without a strategy, right? We're just posting to get it out there. So then we start getting followers that aren't aligned with our business, aren't aligned with our goals, our mission, who we want to serve. And we're getting a bunch of random people from a reel that went viral that has nothing to do with what we do. So really, really, really honing in on your frequency. Right now, my reel strategy has changed a little bit, but not much. I'm not posting more than 3 reels. I don't think I am posting more than 3 reels a week. So that is important. And I just want you to know that you do not have to do it every day. I also personally, and what I talk to my students about is your audience learns differently. So not all of them want to see a reel every single day. Some are visual readers, so they prefer the carousels, right? Some love images, so they prefer photos of you or your product. Some of them like to experience you in real time, so doing a live video every so often consistently is what's going to build that like no trust factor with your audience. You can only get so much connection through 15 to 30 seconds a day, right? So let me know if that's helpful. You do not, I hope that lifted a weight off of someone who feels as though the only way they're going to grow their audience is by posting every single day. You don't have to. My students don't, I don't. And the things that I've seen is mind blowing. The second myth that I hear often is reels don't work anymore. So when I first posted reels, I was getting all this traction, and now that I'm posting it doesn't work anymore. So I want you to know that they still do work, but what has changed since reels got released back in 2020 to today is that there are more businesses now utilizing that feature. So the fight for eyes is a bit steeper, right? There were less people doing reels, so that means we didn't have so much competition in the pool of videos, right? Now there are more people doing reels, but there's still a giant amount of business owners, a giant percentage, right, of business owners that are not utilizing reels. So your content is still being pushed, your content is still being seen, all of that. So definitely know that they still work. Yep, Sarah, I did mention that in the beginning. Reels are 60 seconds now. But I encourage you to keep them short unless your audience really takes to long form content. So yes, reels still work and they work fast. And then the last thing that I hear often that I want to myth bust is that you have to do all the things for real results, right? So how many of you, put a yes if this is you, have heard that you have to do all the trending dances and you have to point and do all the transitions and you have to spin around and you have, has anyone heard that? Has anyone heard that you have to do everything, do all the things in order for your reels to work? Because I've definitely heard that. And so I want you to know when I first, and I think I still am, the pointing queen. These are my reels. This is what I mostly do. And that's what's authentic to me. That's what works for me. I've seen some of my students piece together past content and create reels that do well. My knees are 33 years old, so I'm not doing all the dancing and jumping, and it's not happening. So you do not have to do all the things. What you have to do is give value. Give value over going viral. You can write that down. I say it a million times, value over viral. Because when you give value, the right clients come to you. When you decide to try to go viral, you're going to go down a rabbit hole of people that have no idea what you do, who you serve, any of that. Okay. So those are some real myths. And I want you guys to take a look at some of these myth busters that have definitely busted these myths and busted through the reels ceiling, right? So these are from some of my students who have learned my reel strategy in depth. So I filmed 4 reels yesterday like I planned. I also been getting more reach and people sharing my content this week too. So she's batched her content. She's spent time creating more in less time. I love that. You don't have to do it all in one day. Another student made a quick reel in less than 5 minutes, which got the most views of anything I've ever posted. Okay, so you don't need to spend hours on creating reels. Super excited. One of my reels hit 82.7K. I also hit over 4K followers and insights are up. And then last but not least, another student said, I hit 60K, right? A few more, over 1,600 views in 1 hour, and that they've surpassed every other reel that they've posted. I can finally edit and post a reel that I've been working on for 2 months. Anybody have reels sitting in the drafts folder, just waiting to go out? That is, because what I will say is that the longer that draft sits, there's somebody tied to the breakthrough in your drafts folder, right? So someone is waiting for that piece of content to go out and it's just literally sitting there. And somebody could be helped, freed, released, a breakthrough could happen. But because we haven't posted that piece of content, they're waiting on you. So I encourage you to post that piece of content. She said, I can finally edit the post I've been working on that for 2 months. And then last but not least, also people have been messaging me and letting me know my reels are popping up on their explore page and my followers have been increasing daily. We are on route to hit 3K. I'm beyond grateful and excited to begin working with these beautiful new clients, right? Thank you. I hope that this was exciting and helpful for you. I love reels and I really want people, especially business owners, to start to monetize and take charge of their content because this is a free platform for your business where you can be generating loads and loads of income. I hit my first 6 figures in my business in less than a year. And that's because I doubled down on my content and being intentional and consistent with the way that I show up online.